Do you want a budget-friendly meal that doesn't skimp on flavour and gives you 4 delicious dishes in one? Let's cook this incredible meatballs in tomato sauce in the TM7. I've got the recipe here up on the screen of my Thermomix, and you can scroll down to have a look at the ingredients or the method, and right at the bottom of the recipe there's always some tips and variations, so make sure you check that out. We also have a few different images that you can look at. We've got a couple of close-up images, and we also now have a video that goes along with a lot of the recipes that you'll find on Cookidoo. So we're going to be making our meatballs first up. Now I have already taken the liberty of soaking my bread in a little bit of milk, and I just want to show you how easy it is to get to the step if you have prepared something earlier. So we're just going to scroll down to the step that we want to be on, which in this case is step 4. We're going to click those 3 dots and set it as our current step, and there you go, as easy as that. All right, the very first step is it's going to tell us to start popping in our ingredients, but it's actually mirroring what it wants you to do. So it's asked us to take the lid off. As soon as I take the lid off, our digital twin here has recognized that, and it's teared our scales, and they are now ready to start weighing the ingredients. We want some Parmesan cheese. That's going in there first, 40 grams. Set that aside. And you can check them off manually as you go, but sometimes, because the Thermomix is pretty clever, it will actually recognize that you've put the correct amount in there, and it will tick it off or check it off for you. You'll see that in a sec. We want some parsley and some garlic. We'll pop that in. I'm going to check those off because they're not measured. Well, next. And they're going to chop now on speed 7 for 5 seconds. All we need to do is press start. That tells us it's done. You can click on that little tick, the check mark, and if you wanted to repeat the step for any reason because you are still in control with guided cooking, you can actually hit repeat. I don't need to in this stage, but I did want you to know that little trick. So now we're going to go to our next step. It's asking us to scrape down the side, so let's have a look at how beautifully that's chopped. Just want to make sure that everything on the sides is gone down to the base so it can be fully incorporated. All right, we want our beef mince. We've got 500 grams of beef mince here. You can mince your own meat if you want to. You would need to just jump out of the recipe and do that separately. We've just chosen beef mince for this. All right, 500 goes in. And see that? It's now checking it off automatically because it recognizes that I've put the correct amount in there. It does give you a little bit of leeway either side. All right, we want 1 egg. Check that off. A little bit of salt, about a teaspoon of salt and some pepper, but that's to taste, of course. All right, it does say to squeeze out the excess milk in our bread now, but what you'll find, that's going to be very much dependent on how dry your bread was in the first place. So I can see there's not really much coming out of that. I'm just going to pop the whole thing in. All right, we'll go to next. And now we're going to mix it again, 10 seconds on speed 5 by pressing play. There's our little finish chime. When you press anywhere on the screen, that will stop. And now it's asking us to transfer this mixture into a bowl and set it aside. Look how beautifully it has incorporated all of those ingredients into my meatball mixture. So no need to get your hands dirty. Okay, so now we want to start making the base of our sauce for our meatballs in tomato sauce. And we've got a series of ingredients here that are going to make the mirepoix, which is basically some chopped vegetables that are sauteed, and they give that sauce a real depth of flavour. Now, because I've already got all of those ingredients in a bowl ready, I'm going to pop them in and I'm just going to check them off manually as I go. In actual fact, let's start with the olive oil. Let's not stray too far from the recipe. We want 20 grams of olive oil first, or thereabouts. We want a garlic clove, some brown onions, some celery and some carrots. So they are all in here. They're getting popped into the mixing bowl. Now, if I didn't want to check them all off and sit there checking them off, I don't have to do that either. I could actually just press next and it does take us to the next step. So there is also that. We would like to now saute 12 minutes on 160 degrees on a gentle saute, and we're just going to press play. Now, while that's quietly cooking in the background, I'm going to use this time to shape my meatballs. Now, one thing to remember with this particular dish is you want to have your hands well oiled and shape those meatballs nice and tight into a ball covered in that oil. And that's just basically so that they don't break apart while they're cooking. So let's get started. We want to make at least around 20 meatballs. And this is why I use gloves for this particular step, but it's totally up to you if you want to use gloves or not. There we go, a nice little meatball. So if you wanted to check ahead to see if what other ingredients the recipe requires, because you might not be the kind of person that likes to have everything ready before you get started, that's me. You can literally just scroll down through the recipe, have a look at what's coming up next. You can even weigh ingredients up to, I think it's about speed 3. If it's going speed 3 or under, you can weigh while it's working. And then to get back to the step that you're currently on, you would press this little black back to current step, and it takes you right back where you were. There we go. That sauteing is done. So our mirepoix, which adds that depth, that sweetness, and that real boost in flavour, is sorted. We are going to chop it next for 3 seconds on speed 4. Have a look at that. Now, because the TM7 has that insulated bowl, I can actually quite comfortably hold this and it's not hot to touch. Now we're just going to build on that sauce. We're going to add the remainder of our ingredients. We want some tomato passata, 460 grams of that. We want some water next, about 350 grams of water, just room temp. A little bit of salt and pepper like before to taste. And we can check those off. And now we cook it for another 10 minutes on 120 in speed 1. You'll notice that the light on your TM7 will change colour according to the temperature that it's at. So it started at green, it's now at amber, and you'll see in just a moment that it's going to turn to red because the bowl is now getting higher than your 70 degrees. Fabulous. So our sauce is now being blended. It's super smooth. And it's ready for our meatballs. We'll press next on our recipe, and we're going to add our meatballs carefully into the sauce, and we're going to make sure that they're all submerged. Once they're all in, you can use just gently with your spatula, using the flat end of your spatula, to just submerge them into that sauce. Okay, so we're ready to start cooking without our lid. So this is the game changer on the TM7. We can cook like we do on a stovetop with our pots and pans without the lid. And so that means that your sauce gets time to really develop those flavours. It allows the steam to escape. And yeah, you can cook to get a nice thick sauce. While that's cooking away for 30 minutes, here is one that we prepared earlier. Now, whether you're going to be serving them with pasta, piling them into some subs, using them as a pizza topping, or enjoying them as they are with a salad on the side, these are going to stretch your dollar and your dinner options. Let's serve a few of them up. For more recipes like this, jump on over to Cookidoo.